There's a reason why some men can touch a woman's soul without even saying much. It's not charm, it's not looks. It's the invisible warmth she feels when she's around him, like her emotions finally have a place to rest. Because truth is, a woman doesn't open up when she's impressed. She opens up when she feels safe. And that kind of safety isn't built with promises, it's built with presence. This is the psychology behind making a woman emotionally open. And once you understand this, you stop chasing connection and start creating it. 1. The silent language of safety. There's something about a calm man that makes a woman's heart exhale, not because he says the right words or makes grand promises, but because his energy tells her, "You're safe here." Every woman, no matter how confident she looks, carries a soft, hidden part of herself. That side doesn't show up easily. She protects it like something sacred, not out of pride, but out of experience. The world hasn't always been kind to her emotions. She's been told, "You're too sensitive." She's been shut down mid-sentence, so she learned to keep that part quiet. Now, when she meets a man, her mind doesn't immediately ask, "Is he attractive?" It asks, "Is he safe?" Safety isn't about locking doors or saying, "I'll never hurt you." It's about emotional presence. It's how your tone softens when she's upset, how your eyes stay patient when she's emotional, how you don't turn away when she shows her real feelings, when you can handle her silence without panic, when you can hear her emotion without needing to fix it. That's when she starts to feel safe. It's not about being stoic like a statue. It's about being calm like a mountain, unmoved, grounded, and understanding. Because here's the truth. Women don't open up when they're impressed. They open up when they feel secure, when she senses you won't use her vulnerability as a weapon later, when she can cry, rant, or even say something silly, and you don't shame her for it. That's when her heart begins to trust. Emotional safety doesn't scream. It whispers. It's in the pauses between your words. It's in how you look at her and make her feel that she doesn't need to perform. And that's where emotional connection is born. Not from passion, not from logic, but from quiet emotional consistency. A woman will never pour her emotions into a cup that shakes. But if your energy feels steady, if she knows she can rest there, she'll pour everything she's been holding inside. Not because you demanded it, but because you invited it with your stillness. That's the first key to feminine openness. She doesn't need a perfect man. She needs a calm one, the kind who doesn't rush her healing, the kind who listens even when she struggles to find the right words, the kind whose silence feels safe, not cold. Because when a woman senses that peace, she begins to unfold piece by piece, word by word, until the version of her you see is the version she hides from the world. 2, when a woman begins to pour, imagine her emotions like water, soft, flowing, sometimes still, sometimes stormy. Every woman has that inner river. But here's the thing, she won't let it flow just anywhere. She needs to know the container can hold it. That's why she doesn't open up to everyone. She watches, she observes, she tests not through words, but through energy. When she shares something small, a detail from her day, a memory, a feeling, she's not just talking, she's testing your depth. If you rush to fix her, she feels dismissed. If you change the subject, she feels unseen. But if you sit back, nod, stay quiet, and genuinely listen, her walls lower almost without her noticing. Because for her, emotional connection isn't built through logic, it's built through presence. The calm man who listens not to reply, but to understand, he becomes her emotional anchor. When she cries, he doesn't tell her to calm down. When she doubts herself, he doesn't dismiss her feelings. He holds space, and that's when she begins to pour. You'll notice it in her eyes first. They soften. Her tone changes. She starts sharing things she's never said out loud before, not because you asked, but because she feels you won't drop what she gives. Most men think emotion is weakness, but in truth, for a woman, emotion is trust. It's how she communicates her soul. And once she feels that trust, once she senses she can flow without being judged, her love becomes deeper, more nurturing, more real. The psychology behind this is simple, but powerful. The feminine energy by nature seeks a stable masculine container, not to control her, but to contain her emotions safely. Your calmness regulates her storm. Your steadiness tells her nervous system, you can relax here. That's when she starts to pour emotionally, not just affection or care, but her full essence. And it's in those moments that intimacy becomes spiritual, not just emotional. When she starts pouring like that, don't rush to label it or interrupt it. Just receive it. That's what creates emotional bonding at the deepest level, quiet, safe, emotional presence. Because when she finally feels she can flow around you without drowning, she'll give you something far greater than love. She'll give you trust. 3, emotional mirroring, the language of understanding. A woman doesn't open to someone who understands her words. She opens to someone who understands her feelings. This is called emotional mirroring. It's not about repeating what she says. It's about reflecting what she feels. When she says, I had a hard day, she doesn't need you to fix it. She needs you to see it, to respond with something like, that sounds exhausting. In that moment, you're not solving her problem. You're acknowledging her experience. That's mirroring. You're saying, I get you. And that simple moment of recognition builds more connection than hours of conversation ever could. Women are emotionally intuitive. They notice your tone, your facial reactions, your micro expressions, even your silence. So if you respond with logic when she's being emotional, she feels misunderstood. When you mirror her, though, her brain registers safety. Her body releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone in, and her heart relaxes. She starts to trust your emotional energy. The truth is, women don't want you to fix everything. They just want to feel felt, to feel that you care enough to tune into their emotional world. When you mirror genuinely, not just with words, but with empathy, she feels emotionally seen. Her heart starts to open like a flower in sunlight. And here's the secret. You don't have to agree with her feelings to validate them. You just have to understand that those feelings are real to her. When you say, I understand why that upset you, instead of, you're overreacting, you tell her you matter. And to a woman, that's everything. That's why emotional mirroring is one of the strongest psychological triggers of trust. It tells her you can handle her emotions, not by controlling them, but by holding space for them. Once she feels that, she'll share deeper parts of herself, fears, memories, insecurities, things she hides from most people. And when that happens, it's not manipulation, it's connection, because she doesn't open emotionally to the loudest man. She opens to the one who makes her feel seen without judgment. That's the art of emotional mirroring. Quiet understanding that says, I don't just hear your words, I feel your meaning. 4, consistency builds emotional trust. A woman's heart doesn't open all at once. It opens like dawn, slow, quiet, one layer at a time. And the thing that makes that sunrise happen is consistency. Consistency is the silent language of emotional safety. It's what tells her, you're not just saying you care, you mean it. Because here's the truth most men miss. Women don't trust words, they trust patterns. Anyone can sound patient once. Anyone can say you can talk to me. But if you snap when she actually does, her nervous system remembers that she withdraws. Not out of stubbornness, but out of self-protection. Emotional trust isn't built by being perfect. It's built by being predictable in your energy. If one day you're calm and attentive and the next day cold and distant, she won't know which version of you she's meeting. And uncertainty is the opposite of safety. When she opens up and you stay grounded, no matter how uncomfortable it gets, her mind records that moment. It says, he stayed. When she's emotional and you don't mock her, her heart takes note. It whispers, he's safe. These small emotional moments stack up. They teach her nervous system that it's okay to relax around you. That's when emotional trust forms, not through big speeches, but through small, steady actions. When she tells you something personal, don't use it later to prove a point. When she's quiet, don't force her to talk. When she's emotional, don't shame her for feeling. That's how you communicate safety, through emotional maturity, not emotional control. And it's not about suppressing your own emotions either. It's about expressing them in a way that doesn't make her feel unsafe. A calm tone, a stable reaction, a slow breath before speaking. Those are the micro details that build long-term trust. The more consistent your energy becomes, the more her feminine energy unfolds. She stops tiptoeing around your moods. She laughs more. She leans in more in because she's no longer bracing herself for a reaction. She's trusting your presence. A woman can handle distance. She can handle honesty, but she can't handle instability because her emotions are water. And water never flows freely around chaos. So if you want her heart, don't make her guess how you'll show up. Show her every day with calm, steady energy. Because when a woman feels emotionally consistent energy, her mind relaxes, her heart expands, and her love deepens. Not because you convinced her to trust you, but because your actions gave her permission to. 5. How safety activates feminine energy. When a woman feels emotionally safe, something beautiful happens. Her entire energy changes. Her voice softens, her body relaxes, her laughter becomes lighter, her feminine essence, that natural warmth and care, starts to flow effortlessly. This isn't magic, it's psychology. Safety activates her parasympathetic nervous system, the part of her that feels peace, not fear. When she's around a man whose energy feels calm and grounded, her body subconsciously lets go of tension. She stops being alert. She stops preparing for emotional pain. Instead, she allows herself to feel. That's when she starts nurturing, giving, loving, not because you asked her to, but because it's her nature. The feminine wants to give, but only in safe spaces. When safety exists, her softness isn't forced. It just happens. She starts to share her emotions openly. Her dreams, her fears, her stories. She stops competing and starts connecting. That's why calm men often seem to attract deeper emotional bonds. They're not trying harder, they're just safer. Safety isn't boring, it's powerful. It's the foundation that makes love sustainable. When she knows you won't withdraw when things get hard, her energy blooms. She stops testing, she stops pretending. Her emotions flow like water that's finally found a riverbank strong enough to hold it. That's what Sadia Khan often refers to as emotional leadership, not control. Not dominance, but guidance through stability. You become her calm center, the place she returns to when her world feels heavy. Not because you fix her problems, but because your energy reminds her she's not alone in them. Feminine energy thrives when it feels protected, not possessed, when it feels understood, not managed. And the more she feels safe with you, the more she shows her emotional depth. Her intuition sharpens, her affection grows, her guard melts. That's the psychology behind attraction at a deeper level, not physical or intellectual, but emotional. When safety is present, connection becomes effortless. It doesn't need chasing, it flows. So if you want her femininity to open, don't try to spark it. Create the conditions for it to bloom naturally. Be steady when she's uncertain. Be patient when she's emotional. Be calm when she's chaotic. Because safety doesn't make her less passionate. It makes her more alive. The feminine isn't afraid of vulnerability. She's afraid of being unprotected in it. Give her safety and she'll give you her soul. 6. The calm man's influence. In the end, it's not the loud man who makes the deepest mark on a woman's heart. It's the calm one. The one whose silence speaks louder than promises. The one whose presence feels like peace in a noisy room. The calm man doesn't try to dominate emotions. He leads them. He becomes the emotional anchor in the relationship, not because he hides his feelings, but because he manages them with wisdom. He knows that when she's emotional, it's not about him. It's her inner world seeking safety. So he doesn't mirror her chaos. He mirrors her need for calm. When she cries, he doesn't panic. When she pulls away, he doesn't chase. He gives space, but stays present. His energy says, "You can fall apart here, and I won't leave." That single feeling can heal more emotional wounds than 1,000 apologies. The calm man understands something most never do. You don't make a woman open by demanding her softness. You make her open by being strong enough to hold it. When he listens, she feels understood. When he speaks, she feels safe. When he looks at her, she feels seen. And in that safety, her emotions transform. They stop being guarded and start being generous. Psychologically, calmness signals stability. It regulates her emotions subconsciously. It tells her nervous system, "I'm safe to relax." And relaxation is what opens her heart. The calm man doesn't seek control. He seeks connection. He doesn't need to win arguments. He needs to protect peace. And because of that, women feel drawn to him without even knowing why. His presence feels like a warm silence, not emptiness, but depth. He's not easily shaken. He doesn't play emotional games. He simply holds steady no matter what storm appears. That's not weakness. That's power under control. The calm man becomes the safe place where her emotions can land. And that's the rarest kind of influence, not from force, but from presence. When you embody calmness, her love grows in it. She stops guarding. She starts giving. She stops questioning. She starts trusting. That's the ultimate psychology of feminine openness. She doesn't pour her heart because you asked her to. She pours because your energy made it safe to. You see, a woman doesn't open up when you impress her. She opens up when you make her feel safe enough to be herself, when your energy feels calm, when your tone stays grounded, when your presence says, you can fall apart here and I won't walk away. That's when her walls start to melt. It's not about being the loudest man in the room. It's about being the quietest kind of strength, the kind that doesn't control emotions, but contains them. Because the truth is, when a woman feels emotionally safe, she becomes her most beautiful self. Her love becomes deeper, her presence becomes warmer, and her energy, and it flows effortlessly. So if you truly want to connect with her, stop trying to make her open up. Start becoming the kind of man she can open up to. That's where love begins, in emotional safety, not control. In presence, not perfection. In calm understanding, not chaos. And once you learn that, you'll realize that real connection isn't built through power. It's built through peace. If this message resonated with you, make sure to subscribe to Echoes of Stoicism, where we don't just talk about relationships, we understand the psychology behind them. Stay grounded, stay calm, and remember, you don't earn her emotions by force.